Thank you for coming. All right.
I'm here.
The boss is here.
Well,
So,
welcome.
ladies and gentlemen, please welcome with me a visual artist, extraordinary, Tolu Aliki. Baba Alpha.
Thank you, my brother. Doctor.
Great,
so
great.
And I'm happy to be live with you.
Yeah, same here.
Talent is not enough.
Yeah. I'm also happy to have you as a guest. Thank you for obliging this request to come. So, what we do here, I'm sure you have witnessed some of our editions. I've seen you join in, and thank you for following us and for joining in those editions. Is that we're having a discussion.
Yes.
We are sharing principles, and we are selling stories. Stories that touch, stories that inspire, especially in this lockdown. We want to inspire creatives to do more and not to throw in the towel to the pandemic. Now, why we are bringing you is that your own story is special.
Yes.
Your own story is different. Yes. I have some of my friends and some of our students from University of Lagos who are listening to you, who are joining in here. Awesome. I attended University of Benin, where I obtained my first degree, and University of Lagos for my master's, Delta State University for my PhD, and all of these, I studied art, I studied painting. Now, why your story is inspiring for me is that you studied mass communication. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. I did. I studied mass communication.
You studied mass communication, but today, in the visual art space in Nigeria, you are communicating in a visual language.
Yes.
So, how did this journey start?
Okay. So for me, my earliest interaction with art started as a young boy. Then I started doing my scribbles on my drawing book. We first of all start with drawing Spider-Man, Superman, and all the rest. But when I got to secondary school, I noticed that a lot of my friends, they normally request that I help them with their biology drawing diagrams. So most of my seniors, they will write their notes, they will leave out the spaces for the diagrams, and they will ask me to do the diagrams for them. So what that happens is that during my break time, I don't have time to play football like the rest of my mates. So I'm in the senior class then, they'll be doing the diagram. So I started charging them 20 kobo, 30 kobo, 20 kobo, 30 kobo. So that was my earliest, interaction or engagement with art. Now, when I go into the university, I didn't intend to study fine arts. I wanted to study law. But I wanted to study law, but my dad said something like, "Oh, your elder sister is already a lawyer studying law. You should go for petrochemical engineering," all these things. But I ended up studying mass communication, and I majored in public relation and advertising. Those are my majors, public relation and advertising. So in my school, Olabisi Onabanjo University in Nagowi, we don't have hostels, official hostels at that time. That's my time. So you normally rent your rooms in the towns, and you live like a bachelor. So I didn't have roommates. I don't like sharing my room. So most of the time I'm alone in my room. So I do my drawings. I'll just be doing drawings and scribbles, and that's what I do normally in my pastimes in school. So, but there was a time I traveled to Ife to see a friend. So I went to see Ayola Gbolahan. That was the year 2001 or 2002. It's a long time. So yes, Ayola Gbolahan. So I saw him I went to see my cousin actually. So he said there are some artists. So I told him, I think they were neighbors in their hostel in school. So he introduced me to Alagbala. That was the first time I met him. I met him outside Lagos. So they took me to their studio in class where they work, and he showed me a material called oil pastel. I've never seen oil pastel before. So I saw oil pastel. So I was interested. So when I got back to Lagos, I went to look for it. I bought oil pastel and I started drawing. I discovered that my drawing looks better than when you're using pencil or crayons and something. So I started. Then when I was in the university, I just decided that, okay, I was painting golf courses because I don't want artists to paint golf courses. But anytime I paint that golf course, I don't feel satisfied. I want to do something because it's always better. I always visualize his golf courses, and I always remember that his own is better than whatever I could ever paint, So there's some traditional sculptures that I saw at the time. So I started drawing the faces. So I started drawing those faces. And I started developing different type of faces, square faces, round faces. Then I stuck with my round faces, round figures. So at that time, I would draw my round heads at that time. And, they were not nice then, but I was just doing them. I was just doing them all through my year 3, my year 4, and my year 5 when I was in school, when I was in the university. So when we graduated, so the plan was to go for, so when I finished school, I actually wanted to go into oil and gas. I'd already moved to Port Harcourt, already learning how to sell diesel, because I told my girlfriend, then I said, after school, I don't want to go for masters, I don't want to do anything, I just want to make money. I've suffered enough in school. So they've already given me the nitty gritty, but I discovered that I'm always going back to art to draw. I'm always drawing. I like visiting. For me, there's a natural passion. We are all different. So I remember that time when internet came, you have to go to the school cyber cafe to browse.
Yeah.
And you buy your ticket. You have to be waiting like maybe 6 person before you can use you just check our mails, just do not much thing to do on the internet then. So I would go to the library. So in the library, there's a section where they do advertisement of coming exhibitions. So what I'm trying to say is that then 2000, 2001, I attend exhibitions from school. Sometimes when I finish my lectures on Friday, I'll carry my bag. I'm going to Miami Savage because they open exhibition at 6 on Friday. So from Agowe, I'm in Lagos by 4 o'clock. I'm in VI. So I started seeing artists. There was the first time I saw Mr. Alaki. I've been seeing him in catalogs. So I saw him. This is the man. So I was looking at him, I just smiled. So I will, then from there, I have the list of, most of that time you do your things in diaries.
Yeah.
Our phones are not smart then. Just Nokia 3310. So you have diaries. I have diaries of the galleries, my dream gallery. So I will just go around the galleries and see what happens in the gallery. Then, I became friends with some of the gallery staff, like Philomena then at my dream gallery.
Okay.
So I will request for catalogs, old catalogs of past exhibitions. So she will give me. Then I started getting used to, because if you are going to be reading art books, you'll be reading about Michelangelo.
Yeah.
So I started getting to know Zida Orara, Olaku, Samajobiewe at that time, you go to my dream gallery, So I became interested. Like, I can do this thing. I'm always telling myself, I can do this thing now. So in 2006, I just packed all my works. This is the beginning of the story. And I took my works to signature. I said, I just want to show you my work. That is what I do. So they said, he bought some of this. The first set of work, I'm going to show it on the screen. This is my monograph. These are some of the first set of work I did at that time. This one is called Jazz. Can you see?
Yeah, sure.
This one is called Jazz.
Yeah.
This one is called Please Tell No One. I've always been painting my women. These are 2007 pastel, oil pastel on paper. So this is a conversation.
Oh, great.
Conversation. So I've been doing my women round heads I've been doing the breasts. I've been doing, because I want my paintings to be childlike. I want my paintings to be childlike. I just want to connect with my soul. I don't want to be like anyone else. So at that time, a lot of galleries were chasing. They would be like, not chasing me. They were like, of course, they have better artists that were already known artists. Like, what's this one you're doing on paper? Why their hair is always bending left and right? Me, I don't understand the synopsis. I'll just tell them this is conversation. So they say, okay, come back. But that come back means please, I'll find you. So situation was like, and I give that credit to him till tomorrow. He was like, you are doing, I think there's something different about your work. I'm not sure. I'm going to buy like 2 or 3. You know, I don't like to talk about figures, but he paid me, just gave me some tokens for some 5 works. And that was my first major earning after in the gallery. I've been selling my works 1,000 in Port Harcourt to high companies and all that. But there were small works, and I don't feel proud about those works because I go to galleries, I see what annual pastel exhibition, I go there, I see what people are doing. So I'm always challenged to be better. So that was 2006. So 2007, that particular year, I can never forget. I painted every day of that year. 365 days, I painted. I will paint. So when I looked at my paintings by December, they already improved. I've already improved. I could not paint fingers. If you look at these paintings here, I don't know. You can see the hands of that man. I couldn't draw fingers. I will not. In fact, I will avoid it. I will just draw it. I just draw fingers, and I'm trying to look for more. I'll just draw the hands, but I don't draw fingers. This is another one. You can see the man holding the flute. You can see it very well. It's not. You can see Aliki 07 there. I can't draw fingers. So difficult for me. But a lot of people who were, you know, we have collectors that can spot early talents. They said that these works looks naive. That is the naivety of the works. That's why they like this. Okay, Aliki, we think you can go places. But you don't have the confidence yourself. You know. You go to gallery, you see the big boys, you see all the big guys. So you're just trying to maintain. And you have a lot of doubt in your heart, in your mind, that am I going to succeed in this? So, and a lot of things worked out for me that I planned. First of all, I want to live in Lagos. I grew up in Akure. I want to live in Lagos. I don't want to be waking up 5 a.m. Because all my life, my parents, you wake up 6 o'clock, you leave home 7 o'clock, you get to your work 7:30. That's Akure. Ministry, all the my dad. You get to work, you get to school on time. But Lagos 5:30, people already work. I'm not used to that. So like, if I'm going to do art, that means I won't be doing the hustle and bustle, but it's going to take time. So those were my pre-beginnings. Those were my pre-beginnings. And luckily for me, my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, she understands arts. And she loves arts. She loves art. So whenever she goes home and she's coming back, normally I like granuts in school. Bottled granuts. I just like to buy my granite, and apart from the regular conflicts and all that. So she said, so I buy you bottled granite. I say, no, buy me paper and pastel. So when she's coming back from school, she'll go to Art World. I've already described, she'll go to Art World, she'll buy the oil pastel and the paper because I can't get the black papers at that time. So I will do I will have like 50 paintings, tiny works, like tiny miniatures, small miniatures at that time. So when we finished school, 2005, 2006, so by 2007, I was already working at home every day, firing up myself. I work every day of the year. So, and my wife encouraged me. And I have a sister who encouraged me a lot too. Because when I finished school, I ran into a lot of problems. You know, a lot of people were saying beside my dad that Tolu is not serious. It's not serious at all. Because in my house, in my family is either doing arts. Because in my family is either you're studying medicine or you're studying it. My brother worked in Shell. He's an engineer, worked the Shell all his life, served the Shell, still working with Shell. So when he came home, when he did his service, so I think I told my dad that it's the guys that go to the rig that they pay those ones more. So my dad automatically said, Tolu, you're studying petrochemical engineering. Because those ones that go to the rig, they work 2 days on, 2 days off. So when I was studying mass communication, they thought I was going to be a newscaster. Well, probably. So I had somebody said something like, I'm talking about discouragements now that you meet a lot.
Yeah.
But that Tolu is not serious. At the end of the day, he wants to be reading news. That his girlfriend too is studying the same course. That both of them want. What kind of life do they want to live? But at that time, because I'm a lot exposed, I have friends that are working in bank that are studying microbiology. At that time, some of my friends have graduated from UI, working at a bank, FCMB, studying microbiology. So at that time, the narrative had already shifted. There was a time in Nigeria that you have to be an accountant only to work in a bank. But now we have people of other professions working at the counter, at the till, doing a real proper accountancy job. So because this time they use softwares and they train people to work in the bank. So I knew that I should be able to work anywhere, even in an oil company. Probably I work in the public relations department. But when I finished school and I started drawing, money was not coming in from anywhere. Maybe in a month I'll make 5,000, 10,000 there, which is less than how many dollars? $5 or whatever dollar. So people saw, but I knew. I always motivate myself. I'm self-motivated. And I knew that like every profession, either you're a lawyer, either you're a policeman, either you're an artist. If you can work your way to the top of your career, money will come. Because people judge you by your assets. You have to go straight to the point, you have to say it as it is. If you've been working for like 10 years in Nigeria, you're a graduate, you don't have a car, they think you're not serious. You're not, So if you're able to work your way to the top, if I was going to join police now, I will be comfortable to join police force if I studied law. I know it will not take me long to become a DPO. And I will not be on the road, I'll be in the office. I've seen some policemen, if you go to that valley in the side, because they have one of the headquarters, you see some policemen, they look very posh. I see them inside the car, these ones don't come out in the sun. Likewise, you see some lawyers, all these big law firms, you see them all the time, they look really posh and all that. And at the same time, I go to old secretariats, Alausa, old secretariat, Alausa, that's a Keja. And you see some lawyers, their white is off-white, is brownish, they are struggling with shoes, rugged, trouser is black, is dusty and all that. They are lawyers at the same time. And your parents, they say, I want my son to study law, he can become a lawyer. They don't understand that you have to work your way to the top of your career. You have to study, you have to do exams, you have to do certifications, you have to do all this. So the same thing with art. But in art, nobody will promote you. Probably if I was working in a bank, I would have become a bank manager by now, with number of years. I'm not trying to praise myself, but in art, so I believe that with time, you can always achieve or get it. So all those discouragements did not affect me. I didn't allow all those ones to affect me. So I was just doing my drawings and just doing my thing. Then sometimes later, I met Atu Arenze.
Okay.
The distinguished Atu Arenze.
My friend.
He's a very good man. He was organizing some exhibitions at that time at Zero, which was
Art on Mainland.
Art on Mainland. That was one of my first exhibition that I participated in. So the journey actually started from there for me. And,
all right, fantastic.
I never looked back.
I don't know why I'm having this echo in my background. the listeners have said it. This is where I used to do the broadcast. But it's okay. I'm sure you can hear me. Now,
I hear you clearly.
This is your style. I want you to speak specifically because as you are talking now, a lot of listeners are students, creatives, people who are trying to carve a niche. If I see your work anywhere without a signature,
yes,
I know this is Tolu Aliki, except somebody is trying to paint like you. Now, at what point did you define this path? That this, you have seen Olaku's works, you have seen Ogwego's works, you have seen several works.
Yeah.
Now, what led you in this direction? And you kept hanging in there, even when it seemed as if it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
What was the motivation to say, this is my path? These heads that are bending with, I call it, with this Apollo eyes.
Yeah.
That this is the style, and I'm going to stay here. Because you see several artists in a bid to create an identity.
Yes.
You know, they do this today. Or they say the echo is bad. I'm wondering why the echo is there.
I'm not hearing any echo. I think.
But the listeners are hearing.
Echo. Okay.
Is it okay? They say it's maybe from the headphone.
It's possible, but am I echoing?
Is the echo off now?
Do I echo?
I can still hear it because I can hear it from here. But you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can hear. I'm using earpiece. I can hear.
Okay. So since you are the guest, you can continue. You can take the question. At what point did you define your path, this time, that this is Tolu Aliki, this is the brand, this is the identity. I'm just going to stay here and get this done.
So the brand, I didn't set out to have a brand specifically, but I started painting those heads in 2005. I started painting those heads in 2005.
Okay.
Then in 2007, I made up my mind that this is what I want to be doing. Because I started seeing improvements. They started sending them to galleries and framing them. And I think they look nice at that time. So
now let me interject you.
Okay.
Responses from the gallery.
Yes.
The negatives, the kicks. Would you like to talk about a few of them? You don't need to mention the gallery. That this is perhaps this is elementary, or this is not what this will not sell here. And how were you able to handle those rejections? Because this will help those that are listening. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The thing is this: I'm very. Sometimes I can be confident with myself.
Confident.
You know, we are different. We are all different. We are all different at the same time. As much as I want to advise, we are all different. So for me, I've gone to a particular gallery and she looked at the works. They were small works. And she was like, why are the heads bending? That she doesn't understand this one. She just pushed them back to me. And I left. And I went to another place. And they encouraged me. They will tell you to come back, to do it on a bigger paper and come back. But it's very tough. It was very tough at that time because you're out of school. You don't want to ask your parents for money. Excuse me. And you can't sell your works. It's very difficult to sell your work. Just hanging there and hanging there and hanging there. But that 2007, which is a pivotal point for me, that I made up my mind to be an artist. I don't want to do oil and gas. I don't want to do anything again. 2007, I knew that there's no other way, that I just have to keep working and improving. That I just have to keep working because I was seeing the improvement every year. When I placed my work for last year with this year, I was already improving. And I have a mental picture of where I was going. So it was easy for me to stay focused and stay on track. To stay focused and stay on track. And besides, I don't want to be like anybody else. I don't want to be like anybody else. I don't want to be like anybody else. Because I look at the catalogs, I see all the big artists. You you will always be in their shadows. Somebody paints like somebody paint, they will be using you as a reference. I don't want to be in, I just want to be Aliki. I just want to be me. My choice of color. I want my works to be as simple and childlike as it can be. And we still have some of those elements in my works today. When I paint my landscape, my houses, the houses, any child will feel like, I should be able to paint this. And, you know, that is my own identity. That is what gets me going. Yeah.
Great. Okay, somebody is asking. He said, what was the factor that helped you to make up your mind?
The factor that helped me to make up my mind was exposure. It was exposure. Yeah. So one of those days that I would come from school to attend exhibitions, you just see exhibition at night. I think 2004, 2003, there's one time I came in to my dream gallery to see, I think it was the first, they called them Olabishi and Lanre Ayade. They did the first edition of Anna Pastel exhibition at my dream gallery. So if you want to become an artist and you are saying the quality of work that these artists are producing, you are looking at the price tags. And you say that the collectors are picking up these works. You have to be motivated. That you have to hang in. You just have to hang in there. You just have to hang in there, because at the end of the day, you don't want to talk about money, but I have a livelihood. I have to live. You know, because you look at all these art pieces, some of them, an art piece is going for like 100,000. Some people are earning 100,000 in a month. An artist is exhibiting like 10. And there are red tags on the 10. So it's important for me to understand that what does the future hold? I just have to hang in here. I just have to keep pushing. I have to keep pushing, because all these people that you're looking up to, they started from somewhere. So there's no shortcuts. You just have to keep grinding. You just have to keep pushing. And life is in circle. The young ones too will be the main guys after some time, you know. So you don't despise your little beginnings. So those are the things that kept me going at that time. Yes.
Amazing. Okay. Over the years, like I was saying the other time, in your careers, you have had several exhibitions.
Yes.
I have, local, I have international.
Yes.
And you like you said that you paint every day. What is that inspiration? What is the rationale behind? What is pushing you? What is waking you up every day to work?
Okay. So
is it the money, or is it beyond the money or the value your work attracts?
Okay. At that time, it was for me to just wake up in the morning and work, because you are waking up in the house. You're not going to, everybody's going to work. You hear people closing their doors and going to work. You are in the house. So you don't just want to sit down at home and watching CNN or watching TV. I go to my studio, I'll sit at my table, my papers already cut, oil pastel at that time. I'm painting every day, because the idea is to improve. Of course, nobody was buying at that time. And that time I made some mistakes, some very big mistakes. When I do my works, I would do like 4 paintings in a day average. I start in the morning, I finish 7 o'clock every day. I don't have appetite. So in a week, I'm having like 30 or 40 paintings in a week. Yes, I work every day. I will now separate the ones I like and the ones I don't like. I will now tear those ones. I'll dump them. At that time, I'm supposed to be keeping them. So I'll just destroy them. I don't like this one. I'll just dump them. Even at that, I have a lot of works, because I was working every day. So it wasn't about the money.
It's a passion
for me. It was passion. It was passion. You have to live I could easily get a job easily. at that time, I had to grind your way from the lowest ladder to, you just have to. In art, there's no other way about it. So
okay, great.
You don't have anybody. Yeah.
All right, let's talk about mentorship. In your practice, since you didn't attend any formal art school,
yes,
who are your mentors? Who, growing up in practice, who were the people in Nigerian contemporary art space? Who can you say, oh, so person played a role in my practice? This person told me this. You just mentioned signature Aka Rahman. Are there other artists who?
There are 3 other artists.
Okay, great.
The first person, his name is Aliki Thomas. He's an American now. He's not painting anymore. So he was the first person that I ever painted in my presence. He would paint golf courses, landscapes. So that's why I picked that interest, that professional interest. Like, okay, this is a professional artist, this is a career artist. Okay, I'll look at him, paint and all that. So I'll go and paint golf course. I just want to learn how to use brush, but I've never liked using brush. So I started using oil pastel to paint golf course. Then I switched to figures. I like figures. I just like colors. I like red. I like vibrant colors. I want to paint there are some things you cannot, people ask you direct questions, you cannot really answer the questions. So like, my favorite color of shirt is white or blue. But if you ask me why do I like white or blue, I cannot explain it. Why do you like pounded yam? Or why do you like beans? You can't explain certain things. You just know that you prefer beans to rice. Or certain things to certain things. But I'm drawn to some colors naturally. So my earliest communication with the people that encouraged me, Aliki Thomas. So that Aliki Thomas was a friend to Ogbemi Man. So he told me, after that, I'm going to introduce you to one guy, Ogbemi Man. He's a very disciplined guy. You know Ogbemi Man. Very disciplined guy and all that. You need to meet him. So that was 1999. That was 1999, 2000. Yeah. So I went to meet him, and the first thing nobody told me, he said, I have to be reading. You just have to be reading. You just have to be reading. He was just emphasizing on that. You have to be
reading what?
You just have to be reading art books.
Okay.
You just have to be reading art books. You have to be reading a lot of materials and art and all that. You just have to keep studying. I have to have a library. Okay. So that one I took from him. And then Mr. Lanre Ayade.
Yeah.
I showed him a couple of my works. And like, Tolu, these works are nice. You just have to improve. Expatriates will like it. They are different and all that. But aside those 3 people, I'm self-motivated. I'm self-motivated. But those people played important roles, yes.
Yeah. All right. I wanted to share with the listeners now. Some of them are students, some of them are artists as well, who aspire to grow and arrive at the stardom at which you are now. So what are the principles, like 3 or 4 or 5 you can give to them?
As in tips.
So, tips that these are the principles, tips that has helped me in my practice, that because what we share here are principles. One thing about principles is that you take it anywhere and apply it, it will work.
Yes, it will work.
So what are those, like you have said now, I know one of them is self-motivation. So I wanted to go over them so that those that are listening, who have this inclination to go into art practice, but they don't have a degree. You don't have a degree in art. Yeah, but you speak the language fluently. Art is a visual language.
Yes.
And it's understood across board, across spectrum, and is attracting value.
Yes.
So, what are the tips you want to give to the up and coming artists who want to find expression in this visual aspect?
That's a good question. Okay. Now, if you are a young artist, like I'm advising my younger brother now. Now, the first thing, you want to be an artist, you have to make up your mind that you want to be an artist. That's the first. That's the first thing. Yeah, that's the first one. Because I've seen a lot of people who you first of all have to make up your mind to be. I'm not following any list. Normally, I would have made it. No, I would have made some notes. Because I don't know what your question will be, so I just want to take them as it is. Yeah, or flow. So the first thing is that you have to make up your mind that you want to be an artist. What do I mean? A lot of your collectors, your early collectors, because if you started painting for 2 years, you are still a beginner. Your first 2 years, you are still a beginner, a complete beginner. So in your starting days, you have to either make your mind that you want to be an artist or you don't want to be an artist. That's number one, making up your mind. Because art buyers, some collectors, they buy for the fun of it, they put it on their wall. Some buy for speculation, a speculative buyer. They want to buy as an asset that you don't know where this guy is going in another 20, 30 years. Let's just buy and keep his works. We like what he's doing. So they don't want you at the end of the day, you worked for 3 years, say you're not doing art again. I want to be selling something. I want to go into art.
This.
Yeah, I'm selling this. I'll go to an island, guys, to make money. So you are going to disappoint a lot of people. And by the time your mates that you started together doing international shows, you cannot come back. And you will not be able to come back. So, I think in abstract. I think in abstract ways. And when I'm discussing with people, a lot of people don't really understand what I'm saying. I will explain to you. Let me give an instance. This is for young artists. See, a lot of you are chasing bank jobs, right? You want to work in the bank. But at the age of 55, 60, will you still be working on the bank? They would have kicked you out, no matter how good you are. The average banking age now, 20-something for entry. By the time you're in your early 50s, you should be out.
Yeah.
But Baba Bruce is still painting. So first of all, you must understand at the back of your mind, without any family telling you that art is a lifelong career. All these footballers, by the time they are 35, they are 40, they are out. By the time they are 35, 40, they are out. If you are an engineer, you want to work in Shell and Chevron, by the time you are 50, 55, they would have sacked you. Unless you become a contractor, you create an oil servicing firm for yourself. If you're a lawyer, so this is a lifelong career, and people don't understand. You have a luxury of time. You wake up anytime you like, you sleep anytime. I don't go out during the week. I only go out on Saturdays and Sundays. Why? I don't want to join everybody rushing and disturb the language because I'm not working for anybody. So you have to make up your mind that you want to be. You have to think deeply and make up your mind that you want to be an artist. So you have to be self-motivated. Don't want to be like Mr. Aliki, because you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know how I push my thing. I'm a daydreamer and I follow those dreams. When I'm talking, it sounds like fantasy to you that I want to do this show, I want to do this show, I want to do this show. So you have to be self-motivated. That is number 2. Number 3, you have to be organized. You have to be very organized. When you are to be organized, let me just break it down to you in a simple form. I will tell young artists, first of all, you must have your basic working tools. You have to be organized. Balaji, I have a guy, he's an artist, he told me that he doesn't have a space to paint. I'm talking about organization now, and you have to be very blunt. he doesn't have a space to paint, so he doesn't have works. Maybe have one work, two work. I don't want to mention anything. One work, two works, one work, two work. He said, you need a big house, 3-bedroom flat, something. They are asking him for 900K. So he's trying to hustle, and in doing that, you make your art very cheap. You are begging people, So I told somebody, I said, if I were him, and he's not married, because I'm married, and you look back, and younger artists, they have a lot of opportunities that they don't understand. When I look at them, the lot of opportunities, they cannot see it. Me, I see all those opportunities. They cannot see that everywhere, because but there's some things you cannot do again. There are some things you cannot do again that they go into gallery and be talking, and they can still do those things and and start a career. But a lot of them are just, they are very laid back. I've noticed a lot of young artists, they're very laid back. Some of them. So what I'm trying to say is that, I told somebody, I said, if I was this guy, I'll go and rent a room. Just one room. All I need is the wall. I don't even need Izu. If I'm painting on canvas, you put a nail on the wall.
I don't paint on Izu.
One small boy just started, he's asking me that, do I have old material like Izu? And I just laughed. I didn't answer. I didn't respond to the
Which Izu?
What do you need for Izu? When I was painting pastel, I was sitting down on the floor. I'll paint pastel morning to night. By the time I stand up, my back is stiff. I'm not saying it to praise myself, but so they're asking for all these things. They want to be comfortable. I'm not saying you cannot be comfortable. You should be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. But in the absence of comfort, you have to make things work, and that is the self-motivation. So if I was this guy, I would have rented a room. I will work. In fact, inside that room, I can work and create works for a solo exhibition. And the 900,000 house you're looking for, is a very small thing if he's serious. So artists must understand how to organize themselves. So if you're a very, very young artist, I'm talking of organization now, you have to understand that, first of all, you have to break down the things you want to do. Let's say you want to do a website. You need a digital camera. You have to break it down by quarters of every year. I will say, okay, the first quarter of this year, January to April, March, I want to achieve certain things. And that is where I break down my things. And I will go for it. And I will tell someone to do that website for me. It could just be a landing page. Welcome to Aliki.com. Put one or two pages. It doesn't have to be full websites. Just put it there, because you want people to search for your name. You have to just get yourself out there. You want people to search for your name, and you don't want your name to appear only on Facebook and Instagram. You want to, because I discussed with collectors, and there was somebody that searched for me from Switzerland. She's a collector. She was coming to Nigeria. So she said that her criteria for searching for people, that when she search for that artist name, and wants to see reviews, art reviews, and a lot of reviews about that person, that it is only Facebook and whatever that I believe you're not serious. So that so you want to organize and break things down. I want to do this. I want to buy canvas. I want to do stretcher. I want to do this. You break it down. Because when you lump everything together and you are doing bills and you are looking at bills of something thousand, or you will not be able to do anything. I've noticed some artists will come to me and say they want to do a solo exhibition, but that they don't have the money to pursue the exhibition. I said, have you even done the work to start with? They said, no, they've not even started the work. Okay. I said, do you know what? Motivate yourself. This is January or this is July. You want to do exhibition September. And just as an example, go to the galleries, go and select a date. Once you select the dates, you will know that you have a deadline. You start working. So you have to be self-motivated. And I'm going to tell you a story. I don't like sharing some personal story, but let me tell you to just motivate some people. So
please do.
In 2007, so I was doing oil pastel. So I used to follow Shagun. I used to go to a hotel that time. I'll just go to a hotel. So that day, I worked. I just been thinking, I have to do a show. 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 So I think I think it's 2009. So I walked to a hotel. I went to the manager's office. I don't know anybody there. That's why I said young artists, they have a lot of opportunities. I don't say you should go to a hotel, they chase you. but they might. You know, things are different. So I went there. I said I want to see the manager. I said, what? I've already written a letter. Introduced myself that I want to do a show. So I got there, and my sister always tell me something. She's a lawyer. I said, when you ask for things, either yes or no. When you ask for something, it's either a yes or a no. The yes will change your life forever. The no is just a no. You turn back, you go to another place again to be a yes. Do you understand? So I went there. So I always follow that. Thing. So I went to the hotel. She said, who are there? She said, I can't see the manager. I have to drop a letter. What do I want? I said, I have a letter here. I've already written it. Dear sir, you know, all those things now. You know, I was younger and all the exuberance, and I daydream a lot. I have a lot of fantasies in my head, and I pursue those fantasies. They are fantasies, but I made them reality. So I went there. I'm going to do this show in this hotel because I know a lot of expatriates are there. They are always there. So I went to a hotel. This is a true story. So I gave the man self-motivation and organizing yourself. So I got there. So she said I should drop the letter that she give the manager, that I should wait. So I gave her the letter. They didn't allow me into the office. So the manager came out, good afternoon. I said, where are you from? Which company? I said, which company? I'm an artist. I just got the letter. I said, okay, you want to do a show? You want to do a show? I said, yeah, you're an artist. I said, yeah. I said, I will give you the show. I will give you the space. I'll give you the space. I'll give you the space. This is the space they rent out for 1 million naira per day.
Yeah.
Give me the space. Say how much? I said, how many days do you want to spend? You know, all those things. I don't have the experience. I didn't come with all those nitty gritty that we do now when we're planning for exhibition. I said 10 days, sir. I said maybe 3 days. They said use 10 days or a month. I said a month, 10 days. The guy held my hand. He took me to admin. He said they should prepare contracts for me. That the only thing I cannot do is that I cannot bring drinks, that they have to buy drinks from a hotel. But it's going to give me drinks free on the opening. That it will help me send it to the room and all that. That one was done. So when I got to the admin, so the girls, you know, the man is an expatriate. And the ladies, they say, bros, do you know the manager? I say, don't know the manager. They said, this thing has never happened. Is free. So so they gave me this space. Now I have my oil pastel. I always put my paintings in folders in the house because I work every day. I will have 100 paintings at any time. I'm not a lazy man, you know. So how do I now frame the works? Because they are glass works. I went to Artworks. Can you frame for me? So something I'll pay instrumentally. Or instrumental payment, I'll give you painting, I'll make a deposit of 10,000. They say the policy, management policy and all that. I went to signature. You know, I could not sleep. I went to signature. I say, Ogaraman, I'll give you some paintings. Can you frame for me? He said, we think about it. Okay. He said, he will frame for me. And his frame was very expensive at that time. So he framed the works for me, about 30 works. He framed it for me. So he said, I will use it to give him works. So I called Ato because they gave me the space. Ogato, your boy won't do division. Good one. I need screens that they use for at zero out of the mainland. So he gave me a letter to one man. I've forgotten the man. He said I should go to National Theatre. You know, this is very connected and is always very helpful. So he gave me a letter. So I went to National Theatre to rent the issue. It was once stipends, you know, not something expensive. So we saw the issue, there were a lot. So I selected the ones that are neat. And I chartered the car. So I basically did that exhibition for free. But I did one thing. I printed a catalog. Because the catalog is a public relation tool. I looked for money, borrow money here and there, 10,000. I did a cheap catalog, like 4 pages. Because your exhibition, your catalog will leave after your exhibition. Anybody can see your catalog after 2 years that the exhibition is ended. So I did this. So I set up a few people came. I always have mailing list. I always do the mailing list. I send message to Ron and stuff like that. I just send message to everybody. I was very young in the scene then. A few friends came. People that I knew from way back, they came. I don't really anybody. People came. Then Ekote has a traffic of itself.
Yeah.
The bar. People started coming. People started coming. People started coming. People started coming. You know, they started coming. We started making sales. You know, we started making sales. We started selling the works. People started talking about the works and all that. They were all oil pastel and tune canvas works. Those are my first canvases. And somehow the show went well. I did like 30 works. One expatriate came on the last day. He said he wanted to buy 14 works. So he took the 14 works. His girlfriend said he's going to buy 2 extra for him, that he doesn't have money again, but he still wanted to. So he said he has a restaurant in South Africa that's taking it there. So they bought 16 works at the end of the day. So I finished the show. I moved the work to my house. I was chilling with gratitude to God. A hotel called me again. They said some people are looking for me they called me from the concierge that some people are looking for me. I said, which people? Because a lot of people were coming and they were like, they will come back, they will come back, they will come back. A lot of Italians and all that. You know, you just have to strategize and put yourself on the spot. I won't want to do those kind of shows anymore. So to round it up, after 2 weeks, I got a call from a hotel. They said I should come. That somebody left his number that you call him. So I called that man. He's an Italian. So what happened during my show at the hotel during the 10 days? Total. They had a conference at a hotel. So a lot of them came. So I called the man. He said he thought it's a permanent exhibition. I said, no, I've already packed. So he said I should pack all my works and come to their clubhouse. So I should pack all my works. I didn't have a car that time. So I should pack my works and come to their clubhouse. So I packed my works. I took a taxi. And I went to their clubhouse. And all the big boys were there. Some even came from Kuwait. They were there, waiting for flights, helicopters to come and pick them up. So that's how you build a clientele base. You build your clientele, you build your clientele base. You started having collector. You start having lists. Started having contacts. So there are ways to do these things. So you have to be self-motivated. You must. Then the third one, an artist must be able to fantasize. An artist must be able to fantasize. Fantasy, young artists, because me, I've always seen myself I'm just halfway or moving towards halfway where I want to be. Because my impression of an artist is to be international. But as I was growing, in the arts, you get to discuss with a lot of senior artists. You have to be self-motivated. And if you are discussing with somebody that you respect or somebody that you look up to, nobody in particular, it's just what I know. And the person is not motivated, but because you think he's older than you, some people don't have dreams. Some people don't have dreams. So if you tell them that you want to exhibit at Gagosian gallery, you want to go to someone big gallery, all those things are possible. But they will tell you, say, Tolu, it's a jump, So you have to daydream. You have to understand, and you have to build a way or find a way to achieve those dreams. If not, they will just be mere fantasies. You must have drive. You must get out and do. So I did a lot of exhibition like that, and within 5 years, I was able to already have a mailing list of my own that is even outside the gallery. Outside the gallery system. So I have people that was showing my works to constantly.
Great.
So that's what I said earlier, that young artists, they have more opportunities.
Baba, it's been a wonderful time. And with this storyline of how you got into a hotel. A hotel is not where they sell bread and beans. So it speaks volume that there is nothing you want to achieve as a young artist that is too difficult to get. Somebody asked a last question, but I think you have answered it because we have about 5 minutes more. Yes. She said, what inspires the direction of your art? You know, but I think
let me just one sentence. What inspires my direction is music and love. I'm a loving person. I'm a caring person. I just want to be myself. I like good things. I mean, I cannot deny that. I like good things for myself. You know, it's like you worked all your years on. You work every day. You worked all your years. Some people they pay rent. Some people they So these are the things. My person inspire my kind of art. I want my ladies to be classy. I want people to people to be happy and all that. So. That's the direction. That's the direction.
Great.
You can experience. Stuff like that.
Great. All right, Baba. Thank you for this wonderful session. I like your analogy and what you have shared.
Thank you.
We inspire. We've learned diligence, consistency. Just keep doing it. Know if a few of the things you have said, strategize and put yourself on the spot. You know, and like you said, that you must have a dream that this is what you want to do. And at times, I remember, like you said, I met an old artist, growing up, who asked me, "Is this the only thing you do?" And I said, yes. I said, we have been here for long. Can't just be doing this one. This art is up and down. But I knew what I wanted. I knew where I was going. And I said, no, I'm not going to be discouraged. So self-motivation that even paper or no paper, you don't have any certificate bearing art.
Not at all.
But today, effectively, you are an artist. And by God's grace, you are getting results and you are crossing boundaries and breaking grounds. So it shows your growth over the years and your consistency in this space. I never knew you have been in this game this long. So because some of my students also are listening to you, they will also know that you have to pay your dues, but you have just to hang in there. At times it will seem as if, I remember an artist once told me, said, do you think one can feed his family with this art we are doing? We met at the collector's place. That this said, that this 15,000, 20,000. But growth is possible.
It's possible.
You can advance, over the years and command higher value. And thank God for you, who is an evidence.